Hey everyone, and welcome to Cooking Companion TV. I'm Jenna Edwards, and today I'm demonstrating pot-roasted artichokes with white wine and capers. This recipe comes from A Girl and Her Greens by April Bloomfield. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. This recipe is pretty straightforward, but it does have several stops along the way. I don't think I nailed this recipe on this try. It was my first time making it, but there are a few things I'll adjust for the next time, and there will definitely be a next time. We'll use a lot of wine in this recipe, and I love cooking with wine, so I figured, why not film with wine too? Now, I know you're watching this because artichokes intrigue you, but their spiny covering is a huge buzzkill, right? Well, I found artichoke hearts jarred and brined, so there is no turning, as they call that gruesome process of removing all the non-edible parts. I also encourage you to look for frozen artichoke hearts. I've yet to find them, but I've heard they exist. So this jar is 14.5 ounces, and it contains exactly 19 hearts, which is perfect for this recipe. By the way, the brand is Cucina Amor. I'll strain them and rinse them. The brine is a salt and lemon juice mixture, so let's rinse off what we can. And you should dry them off thoroughly at this point, like squeeze any water or brine out of each heart with a paper towel, because we will next heat olive oil until it just begins to smoke, which is really high heat, which really doesn't like any water. And when you drop in a wet artichoke, the hot scalding oil goes nuts. So take a minute and thoroughly dry the artichokes after rinsing them. This should be obvious, but I'm cooking this at 8:30 in the morning, so I'm not all there yet. As best as you can, try to stand them up on the cut side down, basically upside down, and then wait a minute. Reduce the heat to medium-low and sprinkle in thinly sliced garlic and salt. A quick word about salt. Since the artichokes have been sitting in a brine, they may already have a salty flavor. I recommend using a tad less salt than the recipe calls for if you're using jarred artichokes. It's always easy to add more salt, but it is impossible to remove salt. Now, back to the artichokes. We'll let them cook without stirring just until the garlic turns golden and smells toasty, about 3 minutes, and slowly pour in a dry white wine. Cover the pot and cook without stirring at a vigorous simmer. It should be more vigorous than this. You'll leave it covered for about 25 minutes or until you can insert a sharp knife into the thicker bottom with barely any resistance. 5 minutes or so before they're fully tender, remove the lid and scatter on some drained capers. Raise the heat to medium-high and bring the liquid to a boil. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of liquid. This is why I advise that your long simmer be more vigorous than what you saw with mine. It's only supposed to boil until the wine evaporates, and the recipe says 3 minutes. Mine took more like 15 minutes. Eventually, I get it all the way down, and we'll add in a large pinch of torn mint and a pinch of parsley sprigs. We definitely want the herbs in the oil so they can get a little crispy. And get all the water off of those herbs too. The hot oil still doesn't like any water whatsoever. If you need to lower the heat at this point to keep the artichokes from getting too dark, do it. You'll let all of this brown in the oil for another 3 to 5 minutes, and then it's done. You can serve them straight away or at room temperature, and that's a lovely artichoke dish. I assume that my jarred artichokes cook a little differently than fresh ones, but honestly, I'm never going to want to turn 18 artichokes for a tiny dish like this. This jar cost me $7 in New York City, and the fresh ones were like maybe 2 for $5, so $45 for fresh ones plus the pain of peeling and prepping, or $7 for a jar. That was a simple decision for me. So let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments. Click on my face to subscribe to Cooking Companion TV. I'm Jenna Edwards, and thanks for watching.